on you, shall we say?
Cemeteries are full of indispensable people, and I think at this point it's become more about ego than it has about leading the party. And I think there needs to be some fresh blood.
Okay, interest. Let me come back to the little tax issue with you in a second here. Amanda, do you see a coherent message that's emerging on behalf of the Democratic Party now?
I gotta say, Michael stole my talking points. You're right, Bill. I do agree. The Democratic Party, their message since the election and even before that, and this is one of the reasons that Donald Trump won, because there wasn't a firm foundation of a democratic agenda. At first it was racism, and then it was Russia, and then it was he hates immigrants, then it was Obamacare, and then it was Russia and racism, tear down all the statues. And that's basically what their message has been, which is we don't like what Trump is doing, we hate him, he's a fearmonger, and he's going to destroy the country, but they haven't come back with any substantial alternative.
I guess you can raise money off that, Michael, but I don't know how you move things.
Right. I would also say that there is an opportunity in this sort of chaos, because the energy and the heat and the activism is in the far left of the Democratic Party, the Sanders and Warren wing of the party, where they need to get comfortable with the idea of leaning back a little bit and making compromises in order to field candidates that could win and swing in swing states and with independent voters, and they haven't shown the inclination to do
Amanda, come back to the original phrase that Sherrod Brown used there about trickle-down economics. In 2017, is that an argument that can still work against Republican policies?
I think that the narrative that you hear most often when Republicans talk about any type of tax reform or tax cuts, the narrative from the left remains to be you're giving tax cuts to the wealthy. Now look, I think about the size of a peanut the last time that tax cuts came through. If they could come through, I think that we could, exactly. So I think that if we were able to get that through, that in 2017 we could just go ahead and put that in the W column.
But that's not even acceptable for the Republican agenda. I mean, Republican Party must get some form of tax cuts or tax reform in the bank.
And I think it will happen. I think that eventually both sides will I guess, cave to submission. But this is something that we wanted to get done, and it was behind Obamacare. I think that the order should have been reversed. No question about that. We should have worked on this first and then dealt with the Obamacare situation afterwards. But let's hope that leading into December that there is something that can be put on the books that we can send for a vote.
I don't think you can afford not to do it, frankly. Again, and we'll see whether or not they can. I mean, President Trump would argue you're going to get both by March or April of next year. Michael, do Democrats in some form support tax cuts, tax reform, some of these marginal states?
I believe
you wonder
they do.
how you can not be on the side of that argument.
I believe they do, and I think that President Trump has shown that if he finds too much difficulty dealing with congressional Republicans, that he will make a deal with like-minded Democrats, particularly in the Senate. And remember the distinction. The Senate, you run statewide, it's a different zeitgeist, it's a different message, it's a different narrative than the House, where you have these highly reapportioned seats that have been gerrymandered.
Do you think, sitting here tonight, how many Democrats in the House would vote for some sort of Republican-led
I think
tax package?
Not many in the House. I think some in the Senate.
Is it half a dozen in the House, or is it zero?
I think 6 is a good number. We'll come back and
Half
compare
a dozen.
notes on that.
Wow. And in the Senate, it's
3 or 4.
3 or 4?
Yes.
While you're giving them margin for losing a McCain?
I'm not going to be maudlin about that, but I'll say that, yes, I would say 3 or 4, but it's something that's going to be agreed upon ahead of time. The script is going to be written.
Okay, is it done before the holiday or what? The holiday, I'm talking Christmas.
I think the White House has figured out that they need to manage expectations, underpromise and overperform at this point. It's taken them a long time to get that point, so I don't know. Before the holidays feels a bit ambitious.
Thank you, Michael. Amanda, thank you.